Hi, Sophie. Nice to see you on the other end of a Zoom. Anyway, tell us a bit about yourself. Did you have a musical upbringing? You're a New Zealander, anyway.
I am a New Zealander, yes. Far, far, far from home. Yes, so I started singing, having lessons around when I was about 8 years old, just singing folk songs and doing musical theatre and entering lots of competitions in my local town, Whangarei, which is in the north of the North Island. So I was doing a lot of singing and dancing and shows growing up.
Musical parents?
Well, this is something that my parents will always say, is that it skipped a generation with them. It actually, my grandparents are very musical, but my parents not so much. But they always say that they helped give me a very good name for the stage. So that's their claim to. But also, my mum's a very, very talented seamstress. She does it part-time. She just does it for me, really. So I've got beautiful dresses from her. So that's the contribution. Yes.
When did you were obviously doing little things, doing shows from quite a young age, but when did it sort of click in your mind that you thought, I really want to do this for my professional life?
Well, honestly, I changed teachers. I started moving on more into a classical realm. When I was about 14, I moved to Joan Kennaway, the late great Joan Kennaway in Whangarei, and she had a very opera background. She was actually training with Sister Mary Leo, which was originally Kiri Takanawa's teacher. And so from then on out, I started singing a lot more classical repertoire, and I joined the local opera chorus, which was called Opera North, and so did a lot of shows and concerts with them, exploring more more opera repertoire. And from there, I just started to love it even more. I was still doing musical theatre and competitions and all kinds of different genres. But it was at that point that I started thinking, quite like it's quite awesome. And then I was doing that for a bit. I was doing my grades, ATCL, and then I decided to go to university and do my undergrad in music.
Where was that? Where was that? In Wellington?
In Otago.
Right.
So I was doing music there. I did my undergrad in music with honours, and then also during that time I was doing a Bachelor of Commerce and Accounting as well. Keep the options open.
I was going to say, very good idea, always, particularly in this world.
Yeah.
So when did you come over to, because you went to the Guildhall in London, didn't you? When did that happen?
So I arrived in London the mid-September 2018. Gosh, that feels like a lifetime ago.
It was, yeah.
Yes, I started there and doing my master's. So I did a 2-year master's at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, studying with Yvonne Kenny and Marcus van den Acker. And absolutely loved it there. I did lots of interesting projects, from song, French melody, did some lieder, opera scenes. I had an amazing range of different projects that we did, which was absolutely wonderful. Got to sing at some awesome places. Got to sing at Wigmore Hall and the Barbican Hall, and I would never have dreamt to have already have sung at a few places like that. I got that wonderful opportunity, and then I came to RAM to join the Royal Academy Opera program last year.
Oh, last year. So you're in your second year on that now, are you, Sophie?
Yes, I'm in my second year.
So what are you doing at the moment? Are you doing scenes, or are you preparing for a production? What's going on?
Yes, so at the moment we are preparing for the double bill. That is Lo Espagnol by Ravel and Gianni Schicchi by Puccini. And I'm just doing one of the smaller roles in Gianni Schicchi as Nella, which is lots of fun. It's so eventful. And
but as I was saying to one of your colleagues, it's a fantastic piece it's always a fantastic piece to do. I mean, I've loved conducting it always, but it's such a good piece for you guys when you're learning, because you have to learn to work as a team. I mean, otherwise it doesn't come off, that piece.
Absolutely. It's a very ensemble team show, and it's because there's lots of bits in it, you have to be paying attention all the time. You can't take your eye off the ball, which is great. You feel constantly a part of the production of the show. So it's lots of fun.
Great. And who's your singing teacher at the Academy?
So I'm currently studying with Kate Patterson and Marcus van der Acker, and my coach is Jonathan Papp.
Lovely. Yes. This is the theoretical question, but in an ideal world, how would the next decade go for you, Sophie? I mean, how do you see your voice? How would you describe your voice? Where do you think it'll be? And what sort of things do you want to be doing in the next decade?
Well, ideally, I mean, the first thing is to have some sort of career, get paid to sing and perform, which is, I think, a lot of young singers in the current climate, that is a huge goal, is to even get a job, you know, with everything that's been going on. Ideally, I would love to be singing at houses around Europe and the UK, but also be able to go home to New Zealand and perform with New Zealand Opera as well, because I love to go back and sing for my home and just travel and do as much singing in different places. I'd love to be based in Germany for a bit, doing concerts and doing opera, but I would, you know, roles that I would love to do include stuff like Marie from Le Fille de Cauchemar. I'm actually singing one of her arias, Handel repertoire, doing Morgana and Cleopatra, and you know, lots of Mozart, maybe eventually going to maybe a Zebanetta, hopefully in the future, but doing more roles like Blondchen, High and Light, and yeah.
So do you describe yourself as a lyric at the moment, or how would you describe your voice as it is now?
Fundamentally, I would describe myself as a high soprano, maybe a lyric coloratura, but definitely high.
Well, you were talking about wanting to go back and do some stuff in New Zealand, which is, of course, very natural. And I'm guessing that you start your semi-final program with a piece from New Zealand. Is that right?
It is. That is absolutely correct. It was wonderful to see one of the requirements was that you had to have a piece from the last 45 years, I believe. And I thought, perfect. I've got lots of those, a lot of New Zealand compositions composed within the last 45 years. And this particular piece, Matariki, by Gillian Whitehead, has really stood out to me. And I think it's the most stunning, beautiful way. It's unaccompanied as well. So I feel it sets the mood, and it really talks about things. Matariki is also known as the Seven Sisters, the stars, the cluster in the sky. Right. It marks the start of the Māori lunar calendar. And the great thing about Matariki is that it's a celebration of the people that you've lost over the past year, about family, celebrating the time that you have with them, what's happening in your current lives, health-wise, and what you're planning for the future. And it's about a time to spend with your whānau, your family, and celebrate the past and the present and the future. And yeah.
Wonderful piece to start with. It sounds ideal in these very strange times. Anyway, from Gillian Whitehead to Handel, tell us about Il Trionfo del Tempo e del Disinganno, which is a title that doesn't exactly reel off the tongue, but yeah.
No, it doesn't. The time and truth. We'll just stick to that. Yeah. Yes. So this is a very interesting oratorio because it's actually it's not very well known. It is Handel's first oratorio and one of only 2 oratorios that he composed in Italian. And once again, this is about time and truth, and this aria is in the final aria of the oratorio. And it's a really, she's talking about there's this beautiful rhythmic underbeat in the piano that is kind of a cosmic aria and a feeling of heartbeat that you're longing for time and to discover truth, which is kind of also wonderfully related to Matariki as well, yes. Reflecting and looking forward. So yeah.
We haven't talked all that much about singing Lied or singing melody. Oh, and I've frozen. Something's gone. There we go. I'm back. But the next piece is Apparition of Debussy. Tell me why you chose that. Oh, hello.
Are we there?
I think we are. We froze for a moment, but we're all right, I think. Yes. Tell me about Debussy's Apparition.
All right. Okay. Amazing. So Apparition.
You've frozen again.
Is an longing. Oh.
Yeah.
Are you there?
I'm here, but you keep freezing. I don't know quite how secure your connection is. Just go back to talking. Start talking about Apparition again.
Okay, wonderful. So Apparition is by Debussy, like you mentioned, with the poet Stéphane Mallarmé. This is a beautiful piece. One of the reasons why I like singing it is that from start to finish, it has so many different segments to it, rhythmically, melodically, feeling-wise. We're talking about the moon and the sun and the feeling of love that happens, and he mentions the blessed day of the first kiss and how that made you feel excited, but then a reflection of these times that you once had as a child, and it's really, as a narrator, depicting wonderful things that have happened and looking on.
Beautifully put. So from there to a folk song.
Yes, wonderful. Yeah, so Down by the Sally Gardens, arranged by Benjamin Britten and words by Yeats. It's a Irish folk tune, and it is now obviously commonly among the Irish folk tales and folk tunes that are sung all throughout Ireland. Actually, one of my friends, she got very excited when I was going to do it, because she said, oh, that just utterly melts my heart every time I hear that piece. And it's all about unrequited love and you know, not really listening to someone that is there telling you to just take it easy, but you're being young and foolish and you don't really listen, and maybe not getting what you could have had just because you're a bit stubborn maybe. Yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful tune.
It is. I mean, it proves that simplicity can be absolutely magical, doesn't it? And anyway, after that, you finish with a touch of Gounod at his most lively, Je veux vivre. I mean, it's a wonderful finisher.
Oh, thank you. I thought, why not bring it home with something that is exciting and delightful, but yet also innocent. And she's quite nervous, but she's also excited. And once again, she's youthful, and she's
yeah, I mean, she's only 13, isn't she, originally, we have to say. We'll make her a little bit older than that, I think, just for the sake of...
I don't think I can pull off 13 anymore.
No, I don't think you should either, but yes. Julia.
But yeah, she's very excited to live in the present, and you know, her nurses just told her, you know, you're going to marry Paris, and she's like, no, I want to stay in the moment, and this is a beautiful moment, and I'm youthful, and there's going to be a time that I have to move on, but for right this time, I want to enjoy the music, and I want to feel the joy of naivety, really, because you know, life's going to get her, and it's going to be hard at some point, and she might not do things that she wants to do, but for now, she wants to stay in the moment, and not really think about marriage and not think about the next steps.
No, absolutely, and it's a wonderful number. Yes, okay, so that's your semi-final: Gillian Whitehead, Handel, Debussy, Britten the arranger, and Gounod. Then you start the final again with Handel and one of the most famous, I suppose, Handel operatic arias, Piangero.
To be honest, I've never really thought of it being one of the most famous, but I suppose it is. I've always sang a lot of arias from Alcina, Morgana, and I've just started going into the realms of Cleopatra. The reason why I think I haven't quite gone into that yet, because I think I didn't know if I could really portray Cleopatra yet. I don't know if I could be strong enough, even though I think I am quite strong and powerful woman. But there's a lot that comes with playing that character. And at this point, Candido, I think she thinks that Cesare has died, and she's actually fallen in love with him. And I think this is one of the times that she really is very emotional, but also kind of in touch with a part that maybe she hasn't quite felt before. Loss and love that she might not have been able to have, and that total despair that no one can help her, and no one, what is she going to do? But you know what, she's gonna torment her brother to the ends of time when she dies. But obviously it turns out all good in the end, and he hasn't died. But at this point, I think she's at her weakest moment, that it's very vulnerable.
Sounds like you're going to have, if it's the right word, it sounds like you're going to have fun with that. But yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
From Handel to Debussy, and 2 songs. Tell us about the 2 of them.
Yes, well, these 2 songs, my goodness. The first time I heard them, I did them for my recital. When was it? A couple of years ago. And once again, they're quite smooth and slow, but also the one thing that I love about these pieces is that you can just have the audience in your palm of your hand. If you let them come to you and sing it with utter ease and simplicity as well, even though it's this beautiful Debussy happening underneath. Debussy's amazing. My gosh, I've obviously got quite a bit of Debussy happening in my program. But yeah, these pieces, I love them. Absolutely beautiful together.
How would you translate L'âme évaporée, for example?
The soul evaporated.
Okay.
Soul suffering evaporated. And it's really all about what's happened, and the reflection on the life that the narrator's had, and the love that once was. And moving into the bells, it's looking out to hearing all these things and remembering a time that once was beautiful. It's very nostalgic throughout both of them, I think.
Wouldn't be right not to have a bit of Strauss, probably. And we've got Schlechtes Wetter. Bad weather. Which is lovely. I mean, Strauss's writing for soprano is just amazing, isn't it?
Amazing. The wonderful thing about Strauss is that he explores so many different elements to it, and though it can be tricky, it's also intricate in a way that you can figure out why he's doing things, and the accompaniment you can hear at the start of this piece, like you hear, and it's like you hear what's happening on the rain, and at the end it's just he's depicting the rain that's happening around you. But yes, so it's a wonderful piece to sing, and she's annoyed that it's raining outside, but then she imagines she sees a light moving in the distance, and she thinks, oh, maybe that's the lady from next door, and maybe she's gone out to buy some butter, and she's going to make some cakes for her little daughter at home, and imagining that the daughter's sitting in a chair, and it's it feels like it's getting the character through a dreary night that she's, they're just sitting there thinking, oh man, it's raining again. Her imagination goes wild.
Then you've got a touch of Aaron Copland, The Little Horses from the Old American Songbook, which kind of speaks for itself. And you finish off with, something from La Fille du Régiment, very much your kind of preferred repertoire, I guess, Donizetti. Tell us a little bit about Chacun le sait.
So Chacun le sait is, I've always loved this aria. Marie is just a wonderful, strong, independent witty character, and I think in this aria she is singing the song of the regiment for all the regiment, her family that found her, celebrating all their triumph and you know, loss that's happened, but really it's all about celebration and pride. And I think at this point she is extremely proud to be a part of something that's bigger than her, and giving back to people that have really given her a life that she's really enjoyed. But she's got so much feist in her, but also she's really just a wonderful young lady that has been through a lot, but has come out the other end and really strong.
Sophie, we'll look forward very much to hearing you sing all those numbers next week, or whenever people are watching this. Thank you very much indeed for talking about them.
Thank you so